This is a nice little simple brunch, lunch kind of dish. Just simple poached egg and a smoked mackerel or smoked haddock, naturally smoked haddock hash I'm going to make. I'm just going to use 2 ingredients, 3 basic main ingredients, then a couple of little peripheral ones. Leeks, about 150 grams, just roughly chopped, washed, roughly chopped. But about 150 grams or 100 grams for a nice portion like this of naturally smoked haddock. It'll be about 100 grams by the time I actually trim off the skin and things like that. Just going to cut that into chunks and cook that with a tiny drop of olive oil, kind of more sweated together, and the leeks together in the haddock. And then just to put a little, very simply, a poached egg on top. The egg, I'm going to cook it for 3 to 4 minutes, so it'll be a nice runny egg, run down it, and I'm going to just enhance the hash with just a little bit of fresh dill as well. Dill is a great herb for this, any smoked fish. I find dill is one of the best herbs for standing up to the flavours of the smoked fish and really complementing it. So, little kind of French tip I used to have for poaching eggs, just from kind of commercial kitchens when you're poaching a lot of eggs. But a tablespoon of vinegar, white wine vinegar, and using apple cider, and I'm just going to pop that into my little bowl. And then I'm going to just get my egg and just open it up and put it into that vinegar and let it stand for a few minutes as I'm doing the other work. And what that vinegar will do is it will start to lightly coagulate the egg, just kind of mix it around a little bit, so that when the egg goes into the water, it's going to just hold itself and you're going to have a much nice, neat poached egg as well. As I said, I'm not going to use any salt in this dish because the haddock itself has enough salt. So on with the cooking. So the very first thing I've done with this is actually just, you can see it there, I've popped on a pot, plenty of water, and brought that to the boil. Again, you could put a pinch of salt in there if you wanted, but again, I don't think it's really that necessary with this dish because I'm using smoked haddock. What I've done is I've skinned my haddock and just cut it into nice big chunks. And now into that pan, don't want to get it too hot, just going to add about a tablespoon of olive oil. And straight away I'm just going to add my leeks in there as well. And at the same time as the leeks, I'm just going to add in my haddock. And into that, about a tablespoon, just water. And allow those just start cooking away themselves nicely. Again, no need for any seasoning. If anything, you could add a little, maybe a bit of black pepper in here. But other than that, there's generally enough salt in that haddock to take care of the cookery itself. So just gently cook that there until it softens and the fish cooks through. So after literally 1 minute of cooking, I've actually just decided to put a little bit of black pepper in there. Those leeks are starting to soften up nicely. And as you can see, that haddock cooked very, very quickly there. So having allowed that just to cook there, build up a little heat, because the fish is quite small, that's pretty much cooked now. That's all it took. I'm going to take that off and then replace that. Take it off the heat with a lid on it, let the residual heat in there finish off the cookery on that. Won't need anything more than that. And now I'm just going to start poaching my egg. Now to poach my egg, all I need to do is, first of all, bring my pan up to a good rolling boil. Now, if you remember, I put that little tablespoon of vinegar, again, I used an apple cider vinegar, into that egg. And that's going to just start coagulating around the edges of that egg. Just a little bit, but it's going to make a big difference when you actually start cooking the egg. And then the vinegar will just simply rinse off the egg by and large. But if you're cooking a number of eggs, this is a good little technique as well. Now, what I'm going to do is turn that down, or down to almost no movement in the pan at all. Let it calm down a second. And then stir it up, make a little bit of a vortex. Always best as well to crack your eggs into a container first and then just dunk them in. So make a little bit of a vortex, nice kind of whirlpool effect, and then pop your egg in the middle. And as you can see, that little bit of vinegar, do you see the way that egg has just held together in one piece. Now you can add a little bit of water on, heat onto this, but you don't want anything boil. You don't want it to be bouncing around in your pan. And then time that, just bring it up to a nice warmth once the egg went in there. Then turn off the heat completely. This is a good tip. The heat is off there. Lid on. And time that somewhere between 3 to 4 minutes. About thereabouts. And about say 3.5 minutes. And then come back and your egg should be good. So after 3 minutes, take your lid off. That's just timed exactly 3 minutes. And then straight away, just take your egg. And as you can see, that little trick with the vinegar. You can see that the egg hasn't spread around the place. It hasn't, you know, oops. It hasn't started to break up at all. So what I'm going to do is just turn that over. You usually find that the part of the egg facing down the way always looks a bit better. I'm just going to let that stand there for a second. I'm just going to take it off. It's nicely, softly cooked. That's 3 minutes. You could cook it a little bit more. I like it like that. And now I'm just going to finish my haddock, my little hash. And to finish that, it's all actually cooked already. There we go, completely cooked. And the last thing I do is very, very roughly chop a little bit of dill in there. Just put it in at the end. Mix it about. As you can see, the fish is completely cooked. And I taste this already. It doesn't need any salt, as I had mentioned earlier. Lovely little hash. Very, very simple, as I said. Just a couple of ingredients in this one. And then to serve it up, all you need is get your plate. You could use a little mold. Just using a little kind of a cookie cutter. Spoon some of your nice leek and smoked haddock into it. Again, this is just all about simplicity. Let the ingredients do the talking for you. There's no need to get all chefy and complex with food. After a while of cooking, you start to realize that food should be simple. And the less is by and large more. So last thing, just going to take that mold off just to get a little bit of height and just make it look a bit nicer. And then I'm going to just take my egg, just very, very carefully. I should just dry that off a little bit first. I just moved that to the side of the plate and just simply dabbed off a little bit of the water on it. I'm going to just gently place my poached egg on top. And that's it, our little poached egg. Could just use a little piece of dill on top there. Won't do it any harm either for garnish or flavour. And that's our little poached egg, leek, and naturally smoked haddock hash. The dill does not want to stay there, but there we go. Just 3 ingredients. Nice little simple, but very, very flavour packed little dish, this one.